So I am convinced that Mother Nature is trying to destroy me. I am scared of everything. And one of the things that I think about sometimes when I'm taking out the kitchen trash is that if I open up that lid, there's a possum inside just waiting to get me and just claw my eyes out. When I get my shoes on in the morning, I click them together like Dorothy Gale because I think that there's a spider or a scorpion inside just waiting to just inject their venom into my toes. And so I am just scared. I'm scared of everything. And I have learned to overcome that fear. I've learned to have courage. Courage is being able to be scared, but still do your duty and still do what you know is right, to be able to act. And I've had two people in my life to help teach me this. The first one is my grandma. Every year we'd go to Disneyland, and I was scared of all the rides. I was scared of the Matterhorn, I was scared of Big Thunder Mountain, I was scared of just about anything that you couldn't go on if you were pregnant, had a heart condition, or back problems. And so a lot of times when my cousins would go on those big rides, I would just sit with my grandma, and we'd talk. And it was a nice time. And I remember I asked my grandma once, I said, "Grandma, are you ever sad that you come to Disneyland and you can't go on any of the rides?" See, my grandma, she was in a wheelchair. Ever since I can remember, she was in a wheelchair. And she looked at me and she said, "Grady Poo," which is what she called me, as Grady Poo. "Grady Poo, seeing your smiling face and knowing that I put it there, that's what makes me happy." And it wasn't that day. It wasn't that day for sure. But it was probably a year or two later, I knew that my grandma deserved to see me experience everything that Disneyland had to offer. And I remember it was after the Main Street Electrical Parade, and everything was going away. The lines were opening back up, and my cousin looked at me and they said, "Okay, Grady, what do you want to go on?" And I looked up, and I said, "I want to go on that. I want to go on the Matterhorn." And they were blown away. "Are you sure?" And I knew I wanted to because I knew that my grandma deserved to see me go. And I wanted to make her happy, and so I went. And I actually had a great time. That was the funny thing about fear sometimes, is that our fears are irrational, as you can tell by my insect fears. And so we went. I had a great time. And there was another time I learned about overcoming fear, and that was as a Boy Scout. We went to scout camp and we were rappelling, and there was about a 15-foot high tower that we were going to rappel off of, and I was scared. I did not want to go. And my dad took me aside. He was our scoutmaster, and he said, "Grady, if you go rappelling off the side of that tower, I'm going to get you that pocket knife you've been eyeing over at the scout shop." And I really wanted that pocket knife, and so I did it. So I got my harness on, and I sat down ready to go, and I started crying. I started crying so bad. And so they just slowly lowered me over the side. I didn't touch the wall unless I bumped into it, and I cried. And my dad at the end was so proud of me. He said, "You did it. You were scared and you went anyways. I'm so proud of you. Let's go get that pocket knife." And I got it. And I was emboldened by that trust. A few days later, we were doing a high adventure course up in the trees. We climbed this rope ladder up to the top of the tree, rope bridges from tree to tree, and at the very end of the course was a platform where we'd take a zip line, off we go. It was about 60 feet high in the air, so high. And I remember standing there. I was the first one to go because I knew the longer I had to wait, the more scared I'd get. So I went first. And I'm there waiting, my turn to go, waiting for them to flag me to go down. And the instructor, he says, "There's only one way you go down off this precipice, and that is with a handkerchief." And he puts it around my eyes, blindfolds me. I can't see anything. I was so scared, but I knew that I couldn't go back, and so I put it on, and off I went. My dad was waiting for me on the other side. He said, "Grady, I'm so proud of you. How did you do it? I saw that blindfold come out, and my stomach just sank for you." And I said, "My stomach just sank too," but I knew that I couldn't go back. There were still scouts climbing across those bridges, still climbing up those rope ladders. I couldn't go back. I was too scared to face all of them because they were all behind me waiting for me to go. I couldn't look them in the face as I walked by, probably crying again. And that was when I learned that there are sometimes two ways that we overcome our fears. The first way is because we love others, and we do what we're scared to do because we want to bless them. The second way that we overcome our fears is because we're more scared of the alternative. I'm still scared of everything. I still take a deep breath as I take out the kitchen trash and put on my shoes. But I know that I can overcome those fears, as irrational as they may be, because I'm doing something better. Whether